Welcome everyone to Chapters Unfolded. We're the place where we really get into self-development books, chapter by chapter.
Yeah, think of us as your shortcut to the big ideas, the ones that can genuinely change how you approach things. We do the deep reading so you get the core insights fast.
Exactly. And today, we're tackling Chapter 6 from the Hyperfocus series. It's called Your Brain's Hidden Creative Mode.
Ooh, that sounds intriguing. After all the talk about intense focus, a hidden mode.
Right. It's a total shift. This chapter dives into the power of, well, not focusing so hard. It explores letting your mind wander.
Ah, scatterfocus. I remember seeing that term. It's kind of the flip side of hyperfocus.
It really is. So the idea is maybe our most brilliant moments, those aha insights, don't happen when we're grinding away, but when we relax a bit.
That's the core concept. The chapter introduces this idea of scatterfocus, intentional mind wandering.
Okay, intentional. So it's not just zoning out when you should be working.
Exactly. Daydreaming during a focused task, that's bad. But deliberately letting your mind roam free at other times,
Yeah.
that's apparently gold for problem solving, brainstorming, creativity, even just recharging.
Right. I mean, think about it. When did you last have a really good idea? Were you, laser focused on a deadline?
Probably not. More likely showering or walking or doing something totally unrelated. That's scatterfocus in action. Your brain starts connecting dots you didn't even know were there.
So hyperfocus gets things done. Scatterfocus comes up with the new things to do.
Precisely. And getting into it is simple, apparently. Just let your mind be. Do something that doesn't demand all your attention.
Okay, so the outline mentions 3 big benefits. Let's break those down. First up, setting intentions and planning for the future. How does drifting off help with, strategy?
Well, think about it. When you're deep in hyperfocus, you're completely in the now. You can't really step back and see the big picture.
Yeah, you're just executing the immediate task.
Right. Scatter focus lets you zoom out. It switches off that autopilot mode. The chapter suggests our brains naturally do future planning when they're resting. They just need the space to do it.
So if you feel stuck, maybe letting your mind wander isn't procrastination, it's strategic thinking.
Could be. It lets you actually consider what's next, rather than just reacting to what's right in front of you.
Interesting. Okay, benefit number 2, recharging mental energy. This one seems more straightforward. Focus is tiring.
Absolutely. Intense concentration burns through cognitive resources. It's mentally demanding work. Scatter focus is like letting your brain cool down, replenish those resources.
Like active recovery after a workout.
Exactly. You give those neural pathways a break, so when you do need to focus again, you're actually more effective. It sustains focus over the long haul.
It's not lazy, it's necessary maintenance. Okay, and the third benefit gets right to the chapter title, fostering creativity. How does the mind wandering spark new ideas?
This is the really cool part, I think. When your mind wanders, it bumps into different pieces of information stored away in your brain, ideas, memories, bits of knowledge.
Stuff that's usually kept separate.
Yeah. Hyperfocus keeps you in a narrow lane. Scatterfocus lets your brain roam across the whole landscape, making connections between things that seem totally unrelated. That's where a lot of creative insight comes from.
Those unexpected links, the aha moments.
It supercharges that dot connecting ability. Absolutely crucial for anything creative.
Okay, so if this scatter focus thing is so great, planning, energy, creativity, why are we often so bad at it? Why do we resist just letting our minds drift?
Well, the chapter points to our wiring. We're drawn to novelty, to stimulation, and let's face it, our phones offer a constant stream of easy, novel distractions.
And more appealing than just sitting quietly sometimes.
Definitely. And there's that pretty alarming statistic mentioned, a huge chunk of Americans reporting 0 time spent just relaxing or thinking.
Wow, 0 time. And then there was that study, the one about electric shocks.
That was wild. Oh yeah, that one's memorable, isn't it? People chose to give themselves mild electric shocks rather than just sit alone with their thoughts for a few minutes.
It really highlights how uncomfortable we can be with our own internal world, doesn't it?
It suggests a deep aversion to undirected thinking. Our survival instincts prioritize external stuff, new things, pleasant things, potentially threatening things. In our modern world, that instinct kind of sabotages this quieter internal processing.
We get hooked on the external buzz.
Right. Plus, sometimes when our minds do wander unintentionally, maybe during a boring meeting, they don't always go to productive places, right?
True, you might end up just worrying about something or having some useless fantasy.
Yeah, negative rumination or just pleasant distractions. That probably makes the idea of deliberately letting your mind wander seem less appealing too.
But the chapter argues that's not the whole picture.
No, apparently the research shows that most mind wandering is actually about the present and significantly the future. Planning, processing, figuring things out. It's surprisingly productive.
So it's not all just worries and daydreams.
Mhm.
Our ability to think beyond the here and now is actually a superpower.
A huge one. It enables planning, learning from mistakes, creative insights, all that good stuff.
So where do our minds tend to go? The outline mentions this temporal travel, past, present, future.
That's the breakdown. We visit all three. The past helps us learn, though apparently negative past thoughts stick out more, that threat bias again.
Learning from what went wrong makes sense.
The present wandering can lead to more abstract thinking about current problems, finding different angles. You can't work on something and reflect about it at the exact same time.
You need that step back.
Exactly. But the big one, apparently, is the future. Nearly half our mind-wandering time is future-oriented.
Really? That much?
Yeah, often planning the immediate or near future. They call it a perspective bias. It makes scatterfocus essential for being intentional about what we do next.
So it helps us get off autopilot by imagining different paths.
Mm-hmm. Weighing consequences, setting goals. Apparently, we're way more likely to think about our actual goals during scatterfocus than when we're buried in focused work.
That's fascinating. Okay, and the outline briefly mentions some other benefits too, beyond the big three.
Yeah, things like increased self-awareness, because you're noticing your own thoughts more. Deeper incubation of ideas, letting them simmer.
Processing experiences, reflecting on meaning,
Hmm.
even empathy. How does mind wandering help with empathy?
By giving you the mental space to step outside your own immediate concerns and consider someone else's perspective. Putting yourself in their shoes requires a bit of cognitive room.
Right, you need to detach from your own focus. Okay, this is all great, but the key seems to be intentionality. This isn't just random daydreaming.
Correct. Scatter focus is always deliberate. You choose to let your mind wander, and crucially, you maintain some awareness of where it's going. That's what makes it powerful.
And there are different ways to do it intentionally. The outline lists 3 styles. First is capture mode.
Yeah, capture mode is basically setting aside time, maybe just 10-15 minutes, to just let your mind roam freely, but keeping a notepad handy.
To get you any good ideas.
Exactly. Or even just noticing recurring thoughts, open loops, stuff you need to deal with. It's like a mental inventory. Surprisingly productive, apparently.
Okay, I can see that. Then there's problem crunching mode. Sounds intense.
It's less intense than it sounds. It means you pick a specific problem you're stuck on, but instead of attacking it logically, you just hold it loosely in your mind.
And let your thoughts drift around it.
Precisely. Exploring different angles, possibilities, without forcing a solution, it's great for complex, messy problems where linear thinking isn't cutting it. Letting the subconscious chew on it.
Giving it space to breathe. And the third one is habitual mode, which the chapter apparently calls the most powerful.
Yes, this is about doing a simple, enjoyable, habitual task that doesn't need much focus, like walking, showering, knitting, driving a familiar route.
Stuff you can do on autopilot.
Right. The low-demand activity frees up your mind to wander and make those creative connections. Plus, because the activity is often pleasant, it boosts your mood, which can actually broaden your thinking even more.
That makes sense, like those classic shower thoughts. But even here, awareness is key, right? You can't get too lost in the knitting.
Exactly. The outline stresses periodically checking in. What am I thinking about right now? Keeping that notepad nearby is still useful so those insights don't just vanish.
Finding that balance between drifting and noticing. Okay, now here's a twist. The chapter says, practicing hyperfocus actually makes your scatter focus better. How does that work? They seem like opposites.
It does seem weird at first, doesn't it? But think about it. Practicing hyperfocus strengthens your attentional muscle. It expands your working memory, your attentional space.
So you can hold more in your mind at once.
Yes, which means during scatter focus, you have more raw material, more ideas and information available to connect in new ways. Better focus also improves memory recall generally.
Giving your wandering mind more dots to connect.
Exactly. And hyperfocus practice also builds meta-awareness, that ability to notice what you're thinking about, which is crucial for guiding scatter focus, steering away from negative loops and towards productive exploration.
So they're not enemies, they're partners. Sharpening one sharpens the potential of the other.
It's a synergistic relationship when you practice both intentionally.
That reframes things quite a bit. This leads into the final point mentioned, boredom, something we actively avoid now.
Yeah, our phones have pretty much killed boredom, haven't they? The chapter defines boredom as that feeling when you shift to a lower level of stimulation.
And we hate that feeling.
We do. But that dip in stimulation can actually push your attention inward, triggering mind wandering. So boredom can lead to some of these benefits.
But it's not ideal. The author tried intentional boredom.
Right, a personal experiment. And yes, it led to mind-wandering planning, processing ideas, that temporal travel stuff, but it wasn't enjoyable. It felt kind of anxious, created a strong urge for distraction.
So scatterfocus gets you the benefits without the unpleasantness of pure boredom.
Pretty much. Scatterfocus has a purpose, an intention. You're using that mental downtime productively, creatively. Boredom is more like enduring a void. Scatterfocus is about intentionally exploring that space.
Reclaiming those activity gaps, those moments between things, not just filling them with noise.
Precisely. Those little gaps are incredibly valuable if we use them intentionally.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive into Chapter 6 really suggests that stepping away from intense focus isn't wasted time at all.
Not at all. It's actually a vital part of the process. For creativity, for planning, for just keeping your brain healthy and recharged.
So for everyone listening, maybe the next time you're waiting for the kettle to boil or you're on hold or just walking somewhere, resist grabbing the phone immediately.
Yeah, try it. Just intentionally let your mind wander for a few minutes. See what happens.
Maybe experiment with one of those modes. Capture mode with a notebook, or hold a problem lightly in mind, or just enjoy a simple habitual task like washing dishes and see where your thoughts go.
You might be genuinely surprised by the ideas or solutions that bubble up when you give that hidden creative mode some breathing room.
Absolutely. And we'd love to hear from you. Have you had experiences like this? Where has mind wandering led you? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, share those stories.
And if you found this look at Scatterfocus useful, do subscribe to Chapters Unfolded for more deep dives. Maybe share it with someone who could use a creativity boost.
Definitely, it's a powerful idea.
So what if the key to being more productive, more innovative, isn't just about focusing harder, but also knowing when and how to let go? That's definitely something to mull over.